Hi, good afternoon. So today's session is about a demo on manual testing training. About myself, working as an associate consultant at NTD Data Business Solutions, and my previous company, I was working as a software tester at R Labs. Totally, I have a work experience around 2 years and 3 months. The scope of the demo is introduction of software testing, different types of testing, introduction to manual testing, SDLC and STLC. So to go with introduction of software testing. So what is software testing? It is a method to check whether the actual software product or application matches expected requirement through manual or automated tools. And why is software testing is important? If there is any bug or any error in the software, it can be identified early and can be solved before delivery of the software product, which results in time saving, cost effectiveness, and customer satisfaction. So, what is the responsibility of a software tester? Tester needs to ensure that software not only meets the requirement but is in a fact usable by the customers. Benefits of software testing. Why software testing and what are the benefits of software testing? Cost effective, customer satisfaction, and security. Cost effective in the sense, uh, while customer satisfaction and security purpose. Yeah, all these are the benefits of software testing. Different types of software. What are the types of testing? We have a functional testing and non-functional testing. There are over 150 types of testings are there. We will briefly discuss about some of the functional testing and some of the non-functional testing. So in functional testing, we have unit testing, system testing, integration testing, user acceptance testing, smoke testing, sanity testing. And in non-functional testing, we have a performance testing, load testing, volume testing, and stress testing. What is unit testing? Unit testing is nothing but it is a simple unit of codes or simple unit of modules being tested by developers. And the next one is system testing. System testing is the testing of the application on a whole in a system. Integration testing. Integration testing is a combination of testing of two modules, combining and testing one and other module whether to check whether with the integration is it able to being to go with in a flow and other modules. And user acceptance testing. User acceptance testing, it is at the last stage of testing. It is being conducted at client place or at sometimes at developer space. Unit testing. And non-functional testing, we have a performance testing, load testing, volume testing, and stress testing. Performance testing is to check the performance of the particular application with respect to the speed, stability, and effectiveness of the product or application. Load test. Load testing is nothing but to check whether the maximum load an application, maximum traffic or maximum load a application or a software can withstand. And we have a stress testing. The main process, the main focus of the stress testing is to break down the system or application or product to ensure that the maximum user the product can withstand at the time. So next, coming to introduction to manual testing. So we have the testing is carried out in manual and automation. Um, and what is a manual testing? It is a software testing where test cases are executed manually by tester. It helps to find critical bugs in the application. Any new application will be manually tested before automation. So basically, manual testing is used to find critical bugs in an application. What are the tools are used for manual testing? We have a Selenium. It is for testing web applications. We have a QTP. It is a run and playback method. We use a VB script for QTP. We have a HP ALM, application lifecycle management. It is for everything. And we have a J meter for performance testing and load testing. And coming to the next topic, SDLC and STLC. SDLC is nothing but software development lifecycle. We have various phases in a software development lifecycle. And the phases are planning and control, requirement analysis, design, build, test, deployment, and maintenance. In the planning and control phase, they will produce a high-level overview document of the proposed project, contains project's requirement and definition of the scope. And the second phase is requirement and analysis. This phase is used to understand and document user needs for the system. And the third phase is design. In the design phase, they will be designed. The proposed system will be built. A build will be designed based on the proposed requirements and based on the requirement analysis from the previous phase. The design it will be built. And the fourth this is build phase. This phase addresses the preparation and establishment of the technical requirement environment for development. And the fifth phase is test phase. This phase is used to carry out user and acceptance testing to full production system. And the fifth phase is and the last phase is deployment and maintenance. Once UAT is completed, it will be deployed to the customer environment and maintenance support will be given. And moving on to the next topic, we have STLC, software testing lifecycle. There are 5 phases in software testing lifecycle. We have the first phase is requirement and planning, test development, test environment setup, test execution and closure. The first phase, requirement and planning, is nothing but it is a phase determine the test plan strategy along with efforts and the cost effects. The test environment, limitation, testing schedules are finalized in the phase. Test case development. In this phase, it involves creation, verification of test scripts after test plan is ready. Once the first phase is completed, test case development phase will be started. In this creation, verification, and the test scripts are carried out. And the third phase is test environment setup. In this phase, we define the software and hardware condition under which which if a product is tested. All the requirements on the software and hardware will be finalized in this test environment setup. And the fourth phase is execution and closure. And execution in the execution phase, testing of the software is done based on the test plan and the test cases prepared in the previous phases. With respect to that, the test plans and test cases will be executed either manually or via automation. And with respect to the bugs, retestings of the bugs and fixes are also performed in the execution phase. And the last phase is closure. In the test closure phase, involve test completion, reporting, collection of test reportings, and the estimation of the time for the all will be carried out at test closure phase. And the most and the with respect to the manual testing, we have a most important topic. It is test cases and test scenario. So, what is test scenario and what is test cases? Test scenario is nothing but high level documentation and the functionality to be tested. So, basically, test scenario is nothing but a high level documentation, the high level document, and a test scenario describes what to test. So, basically, test scenario is functionality. What are the functionality to be tested will be, or we call it as a test scenario. The coming to the test case, each and every test scenario will contain a multiple test cases. So test cases is how to test, and test scenario is what to test, and test cases is how to test. And moving on to the with respect to the real-time scenario with example. Okay, for example, let's take a e-commerce application. In the e-commerce application, we have a different modules. We have a login functionality. We have purchase. We have a payment method, and we have all those. We have in the e-commerce application. So what we call as a scenario is nothing but the login functionality. We call it as the one scenario. and the payment method options we call it as a second scenario. In the with respect to the test cases, what we call as test cases is in the first scenario, login functionality, we can write multiple test cases with respect to the multiple test cases written and the test data we are writing, we will be able to execute it. So the test cases is nothing but, for example, is that there is a username and password in the login functionality. So I will be writing the test case as valid username, valid password. With respect to the ones, I will be able to click a enter button, sign on. So that is one of the test cases. And I will write the second test case as valid username but invalid password. So that is the second test case. And with the expected results will be that while clicking yes, sign in, that should not take me to the next page, home page. And the third test case is invalid username and valid password. So that is also, it should not redirect me to the home page. It should throw me a pop-up message stating it is an error in signing. So these are the examples of here we see the principles of testing, software development lifecycle. I was mentioned the previous white box testing, black box testing, unit testing, integration testing. All these other types of testing, and regression testing is nothing but an end-to-end testing. Once the product is released, product is completed, end-to-end testing will be carried. We call it as a regression testing. And defect life cycle. So bug tracking. Once the bug is, or incident is raised, what are the life cycle the defect is goes. The basically it is status of the defect. Status of the defect is will be given based on the severity and priority of the defect. The severity is the highest severity and the highest priority. Status will be new, unassigned, assigned, and completed. So the severity of the defect and the priority of the defect should be given based on the urgency and the immediate level of to be checked with respect to the functionality level. And once the status of the defect is from new to, it is moved to assigned to the developer, it will be in process stage. Once it is completed from the developer end, again it will be come back to the testers for retesting. Once the retesting is done and there is no bugs at all, it will be closed. If there is again bug, it is again moved to the new error retest required stage, and it will be again given to the developer, and we will be again once the developer again fixes the issue, it will be again coming for retesting. So this is how the defect life cycle carries. Add-on topics like ISTQB, tips to face interview, and resume building. And the tips to face interview, we will be I will give you the questions, interview questions. I will prepare you for the how to face interview, how to prepare your resume, how to just to build your resume with respect to the skill set. All the data will be inputted from my end. And the next slide also, this is the project. We have three projects. Project one, and it is based on the SOP and enhancement lifecycle. It automated process for all HR activities. And the third project, how energy consumption is reduced. The implementation of SaaS platform called elimination energy service. So all these three projects, it is with respect to the guidance from me, students need to complete the projects. And for the completion of the project, for the projects, we have a lab setup like the prerequisite. It's a high speed internet desktop or laptop, and the system the desktop or laptop requirement is Microsoft Windows 7 or above, 500 GB hard disk, SATA or SSD, and memory card like 16 GB RAM, and the CPU 4 cores. And this is how the course completion certificate, your ID certificate, ID date, and the signature from our training director will be given in the certificate with respect to your name and the duration. And that's all thus for the today's slide. Thank you for attending the demo. Please share your feedback and contact us for queries related to course scope, schedule, references, cost, and payment options. And you can take down the number for your reference. If you anything, just call us. Thank you.